Let's make another randomly generated piece of jewelry. Today's numbers are drawer 8, and then we've got something special this time. The person who chose today's numbers said drawer 8, but to choose the last die in the drawer. Here is the last die in drawer 8. It's got 2 designs on it, so it has this narrow band, which could be used to make a ring or something like that. And then there's this really ornate sort of rectangular design, which could be like a link in a bracelet. Or I could cut them all apart and make something completely brand new. Let's see what we come up with. I decided to use the long, narrow piece. So I found a piece of wire that fits perfectly. I press it in. Then I'm trimming the ends because I'm going to form it into a ring. On a typical ring, if there's texture, you would apply the texture and then form it so that the texture is on the outside edge of the band. In this case, I'm forming it in a much more difficult orientation so that the texture faces to the side. After I form the ring, you can see there's a little space up at the top right there between the 2 ends. When I solder, I need that join to be completely flush, so I saw through it a couple times until there's no gap between the 2 ends. Then I head over to my soldering area, place a piece of hard solder down onto my soldering surface, apply flux, and heat the piece evenly until that solder flows up and joins the 2 ends of the rings together. After it's clean, I put it on my mandrel to make it perfectly circular again, and then I make 5 more. I may have lost my mind. Next up, I use different sanding discs to smooth the join, and then I connect all of the rings together because I am making a bracelet. I use 1 link to connect all of the rings, and then I decide I don't like that, so I add a second, and I'm loving how this looks. I did decide to give the rings a slight dome just to give it a little bit more interest. Next, I need to solder both of the jump rings that are connecting each set of rings. I apply flux and then a small tiny little melted ball of solder on each join of the jump ring, and I heat it until it flows. And here is the finished bracelet. To be honest, it took me a little while to figure out what I wanted to do with that small, narrow impression die. But I think I came up with a really interesting and very wearable design. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I signed the back of my piece, and there it is. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to play along, I need you to leave me 2 numbers in the comments, number 1 through 8 to determine which drawer I'll choose, and number 1 through 85 to determine which die from that drawer I'll pick. And because lots of people ask, not including design time and planning time, this took me about 12 to 15 hours to create. Thanks for watching.